Well, thank you for inviting me to the Encore, and big thank you especially to Robin, who has been putting all of this together. Quite an astounding achievement. Well, my opportunity now is to give you an insight into the world of the ecologist, in particular the world of the hedgehog ecologist, but also to look at possibly the fact that the likes of Professor Brian Cox possibly overcompensating a little bit when they quote Ernest Rutherford by saying that the only true science is physics and everything else is stamp collecting and cookery. I would like to point out that while he may be there in his shirt sleeved, all immaculate in front of a computer screen going, oh, I don't know where 96% of the universe still is, I'm out there in the mud and the rain attempting to find out where all the hedgehogs are, which is actually a serious point because the hedgehog population in this country has declined staggeringly, possibly down by over 90% since the end of the Second World War. And that's why we need the research, the conservation research, which gives us an insight into the ways we can best help hedgehogs. There's the British Hedgehog Preservation Society, of whom I'm a spokesperson, but not today, and also the Hedgehog Street Campaign, which does an amazing amount of work. And there's then the petition that I run on change.org, which is looking to change planning law to get hedgehog highways built into all new housing developments. It's change.org/save our hedgehogs. We're at currently 967,000 signatures, so please can we get this up to 1 million. Now, the enthusiasm with which I enter this world of hedgehogginess has often led people to think that maybe I'm a little odd, maybe I'm a little strange, but I have to point out to them I am often the most normal person in the room. This first came apparent when I went to the United States of America. I was researching my first book, A Prickly Affair. And out there in America, I was invited to the Rocky Mountain Hedgehog Show, which in many respects is very like Crufts, but without any dogs and with an awful lot of hedgehogs. Pet hedgehogs. These are not our European hedgehogs. Do not try and keep our hedgehogs as pets. I once shared a bedroom with one for 2 weeks and they really do smell. But these are the African hedgehogs, and they're quite cute little things. And you've got an entire weekend spent trying to find out which one is cutest. That wasn't the strangest thing that happened there, even though it did leave me feeling particularly normal. In fact, the International Hedgehog Olympic Games was not the strangest thing that happened there either, even though it's much more of a triathlon with a sprint, which is fairly obvious, the hurdles, which is much more challenging, and then the more esoteric discipline of the floor exercises, in which a hedgehog has to go through a little tunnel over a seesaw and, for reasons that nobody could adequately explain, knock over a My Little Pony. No, that wasn't the strangest thing that happened there. Neither was the Rainbow Bridge ceremony. This was a 40-minute valedictory PowerPoint to solemn music in which every hedgehog that had died in the last 2 years got a little biography. And that wasn't the strangest bit. No, it was the animal communicator. It was the woman who sat there holding a hedgehog, looking at the hedgehog and looking at the hedgehog's owners, and then expounding to them the reasons why their hedgehog was so miserable. It was so sad. It was because their cat was teasing it, and their cat was teasing it by telling it how much they preferred the other hedgehog. And they nodded and they paid and they left. And I found out that this woman can heal hedgehogs over the phone using the vibrational powers of her brain. And I just wonder, could we not roll this out a little bit further? Anyway, so I got back to the United Kingdom and discovered that actually, whilst I had thought I was very normal, other people thought maybe not so. I then began embarking on some research, looking at the iconography of hedgehogs for another book on hedgehogs, because you can't have too many books about hedgehogs. And in this, I then discovered other people in other countries have different attitudes towards hedgehogs, not just like our Mrs. Tiggywinkle over here. No, in New Zealand, the hedgehog in New Zealand features in a cartoon strip called Bogor. Now, New Zealand's hedgehogs were exported in the 19th century. That's another long story. But Bogor, his friendly hedgehog is out there nibbling on marijuana all the time. And when it's not nibbling on marijuana, is eating snails, which have eaten marijuana. So this is a stoned hedgehog. Then we go to Finland, and the Finnish hedgehog there is the cursing hedgehog, and the cartoon strips about the cursing hedgehog are simply a hedgehog cursing, because, I mean, why not? Mrs. Tiggywinkle, cursing hedgehog. But if you think that's bad, well, then you need to look towards Poland, and George the hedgehog, who is a priapic beast. We've got the sort of Boris Johnson of hedgehogs here, an absolutely outrageous character, and the less said about that, the better. Anyway, I find myself repeatedly being reminded that while some people may think I'm a little bit odd, other people I'm amongst, and I know that I'm extremely normal. And most recently this happened in the United Kingdom. I was invited to speak at an animal vibrational healing conference thing. Please don't judge me. I am freelance, largely unemployable, and I go where the money takes me largely. And I went along to this conference, and there was this moment where they're going to do vibrational healing, and they've got these tuning forks which vibrate, and then they make things better. And they got a dog, and they put the dog onto the stage, and the dog had 3 legs. And I thought for a moment, just for a moment, I'm going to have to get rid of all of my prejudices if that leg grows back. And you will never believe what happened. The leg didn't grow back. But later I then bumped into the person who had been selling these tuning forks with which you can vibrationally heal pretty much anything. And she's got a book about how you can use these on yourself, and the book is called How to Fork Yourself, and she didn't seem to see the joke in that one either. So my message to Brian Cox is that his world of absurdities, of quantum mechanics and multi-universes is all really simple and straightforward. He doesn't have to deal with the sort of things I have to deal with, which is people. So big up the hedgehog.